Beautiful day, St. Patrick's Day. I'm out and about with my lovely dog. This video is for builders and contractors and trying to get to the crux of why certain guys win tenders and other guys don't. Profoundly important thing. I used to be a builder. My father was a builder. My brothers were builders. My father's best friend was a builder. A large one, very, very large one. So I've been in construction all of my life, and now I sit on the different side of the table. Well, I sit on both sides of the tables. So why does, as one quantity surveyor said to me, money's made on site. So that's both a strength and a weakness of the whole industry. But the reason I say that was a weakness, because at the time during the recession, contractors were doing work for, I think it was in the region, 60% less the value. So they were actually working off 40 or 50% of the cost of the project. Insane stuff. But it was the survival mechanisms. One of the things that did happen at that stage, I was actually still doing contracting, and I went out and I went to London to do a couple of projects, and all I could see was Irish vans in London and some of the major companies as well. So winning tenders is, and cash flow is, the lifeline of the industry. How do you win a tender? Well, everybody thinks it's about price, and it certainly is, but for homeowners it's about a lot more. So the question is, have to see it from their point of view. They are putting a huge amount of money in. They want somebody they can trust. They want somebody they can trust around their house. They want somebody that has local references, local histories. And this is very hard to assimilate in a contractor's mind, because he's already flat out. He's flat out. And in all honesty, the reality is probably couldn't care that much, because his plate is already so full. So he needs a side plate, needs some analytical tools, often best provided by a quantity surveyor. I know it's a plug, but that's the reality. And there needs to be engagement. I have a client and he has a preference towards a builder. He always had the same preference towards that builder, a good guy, but the builder was the only one that came out to the house to visit them. I once was working for my brother, who was a builder, and there was a major project and the guy was doing up his home, and with logistics I ended up going out to see him, and you could literally see that he was not impressed, and like the logistics couldn't have been helped. There was could not have been helped, just non-availability, but the guy was not impressed that the top guy wasn't there, and everybody moved on. But and engagement, alignment, the questioning the tender itself, engagement around the tender is virtually non-existent. When I put out tenders, I would literally, if I put out 5 tenders to 5 or 6 builders, that's 30 tenders. I would be surprised to get more than 1 or 2 queries about the tender itself. On queries, on quantities, on methodology, on products, on build sustainability or constructability as well. So there's little or no engagement. How the tender's produced, how it's replied to, the timing of it, the request for extensions, revisiting the location, Websites let a lot of people down, are lacking them. Facebook pages can be equally as good. The overuse of PC sums, and builders think that this protects them and then gives them some sort of cushion for negotiation, using PC sums for electrics and plumbing and mechanical, which is very understandable, but in reality that should become in the tender, that this will be finalised at a later stage. So we know plumbers and electricians don't want to come, and they don't want to come, and they don't want to price the work. They don't want to waste time until they come and get it. We know this, but that can be highlighted in the tender, which is not normally done. Very little scrutinisation of engineering drawings, very little feedback, bluntness and roughness to the clients. Presentation, is it uniformed in advance? Uniformed? Is the logos uniformed? Is the hoarding cleaned? All of these things are why builders lose tenders, and it's not always around price. It's not always about price. I have one builder, and he works all over Dublin. He hasn't picked out a niche. He hasn't zoned in on an area and become regional. He's all over the place. So it's harder to get referrals when it's spread out, and it's harder to get localized knowledge when it's spread out. That same builder has now won a job in his local neighbourhood, and he was the ideal candidate for the job because of his location, yet his philosophy is Dublin wide. There's other builders that I don't think they're in the right niche either. One of them in particular, he's really, really good and strong. Personally, he's one of the best builders in Dublin. I think he should be in Killiney and Dalkey and Foxrock, where a huge amount of wealth resides. Another builder I know who is in those neighbourhoods doesn't fully push the fact that he is in those neighbourhoods, and his website doesn't reflect it. So he's got a huge amount of work, images done, videos done, stock done, projects done, but he isn't maximising that, which has to have an impact upon him getting on tenders, which has to have an impact upon him having credibility, which has to have an impact upon his bottom line. So it's way beyond the actual price itself, and even the price itself. I encourage homeowners to engage. If contractors are near each other, I encourage homeowners to meet contractors to see who's the best fit. And as builders know, this is a double way interview. The builders are interviewing the clients just as much as the clients are interviewing them. So may not want to win tenders, and there's some clients that good people, good builders, have misalignments already at the start. It's not going to happen. Thanks, guys. If you need any help with any tenders, let me know. Bye.